Hello, hello. Welcome back. It's Hayley here. Hi, Mom. My mom just told me that when she sees my videos pop up on YouTube, she always gives me a like. And I was like, thank you. Those likes are so much appreciated. You gotta count on your moms, right? To be there supporting you. So, hi, Mom. Thanks for watching. Okay, my name's Hayley. I'm a nutritionist and a brain training weight loss coach. And what this podcast is all about is really focusing on the mindset pieces of weight loss and what's going on in your brain, why you are emotionally eating or stress eating or wanting to eat all the time, and really tackling that as opposed to just giving you a list of foods that you can and can't eat. So that's what my program is all about, is really focusing on what's going on in your brain. And let's train your brain to stop talking to you about food all of the time so that you can live a peaceful life and you can just have a cheese board and it's not a big deal. You can have a glass of wine or a cookie and still weigh what you want to weigh. You can live your life. That's what this is all about, is finding that place where you can live your life and still weigh what you want. So if you are interested in my program, go to my website, basicallyatmeals.com. You can read more about it there. You can also sign up right on that page, and I would love to see you inside. Okay, so this is going to be a quick episode, and this is like crash course beginners. If you are trying to get started with losing weight by focusing on your mindset instead of by doing it how you've been doing it with the dieting and the restricting, and you're like, it doesn't seem like it's working. I'm looking for something else. I feel like there's more to this. This is like your first step to getting started, losing weight with mindset and brain training. So the first thing that you can do to get started at home on your own, and I'm going to walk you through the entire what this looks like, is make a plan. I talk about that a lot on this podcast because it's the first thing that all of my clients learn to do when they come and work with me, is we start planning. And there's so many reasons for it, and I'm going to go into some of them. But when it comes to like our brain and eating, 99% of your food decisions right now are coming from the part of your brain that is just trying to survive. It's like survivalist mode. It is everything's life or death. Stress, any stress that you experience is like you could be dying right now. Go get a candy bar. That's going to fix everything. And we really need to take ourselves out of making food decisions from that part of our brain and into the conscious part of our brain, the part of our brain that wants to lose weight. We need to empower that part of our brain to make our food decisions. And planning is a big part of that. If you think about the rest of the animal kingdom and what we have, why was that so hard for me to say? What we have that they don't have, it's the ability to plan. That comes from the human part of our brain. So making a plan is this very powerful tool. Some people get really annoyed by this. They're like, well, life happens. And like, if I said I was going to eat a salad and then my kids want to go to a McDonald's, like, what am I supposed to do? It doesn't need to be that complicated. It doesn't need to be life or death. You make a plan, and I'll go into what happens if you don't follow it. But it's really not so much about being super strict and following that plan. It's about getting your brain in this routine of making decisions ahead of time from the part of your brain that wants to lose weight. I had another thought on that I just completely lost my train of thought. So I will come back to it if I think about it. Okay, so first thing in the morning, like before you start your day, or you can do this at night before you go to bed. But if you're doing it at night before you go to bed, I do want to mention, don't do it like on a night at nighttime if you've just like eaten a pint of ice cream and you're super mad at yourself for that. Don't plan from a place of like being really upset about your weight or what you just ate, because the plan is not gonna it's not gonna be a good plan if you go from that place. So if nighttime works for you, if you have kind of a quiet evening and you didn't just eat an entire bag of chips, that's great. Morning times tend to be good as well because your brain is fresh, you are optimistic and enthusiastic, and you have more energy, and you can kind of like think about, okay, what do I want this day to look like, or what is my day going to look like? So a lot of my clients do it in the morning. So you're just going to write down, what is my eating day going to look like? What do I want it to look like for me from a place of wanting to lose weight? What are the foods I'm going to eat? When am I going to eat? And how much am I going to eat? And planning your indulgences. This plan is not about punishing yourself. It's not for what you ate yesterday or for the fact that you're overweight. It's not about restricting yourself into like, we are only eating, XYZ and 1,000 calories and we can't have any whatever. That's not what it's about at all. Yes, you want it to be maybe like healthy, maybe not so much with like snacks or random vending machine trips, but it's not about restriction and like really trying to tighten this up. It's about living your life. So don't make it strict and plan your indulgences. So let's just hypothetically say the first time that you're doing this, you have a dinner out tonight. And there's going to be wine, there's going to be appetizers, there's going to be dessert. Think about, okay, tonight when I'm there, what is like one or two indulgences that I'm really going to want to enjoy? Not all of them, but because a lot of times we think that we enjoy all of the indulgences, we want to have appetizers and bread and pasta, heavy cream sauce, and a bottle of wine and dessert. And really, that does not feel good. That kind of eating comes from a place of like, we've been restricting all week and I'm going to go whole hog. But it's not really what we want. There's usually a couple, maybe one or two indulgences for that event that you're like, I would love to enjoy that, and everything else I can pass on. So be thinking about that. What are the things that I would love to enjoy at this meal? And what are the things that I'm going to say no to, easily say no to? Maybe not easily, but I'm going to say no to those things. So write that down. I'm going to have, a glass of wine or a piece of bread, and I'm going to have some dessert. And those are going to be my indulgences. And everything else that comes up, my husband orders fried calamari. Apparently we're at a pasta restaurant. I don't know why all these Italian things are coming to mind. My husband orders fried calamari and the artichoke dip. No, I'm passing on that. I'm having a glass of wine. And then if, I feel like dessert sounds good at the end of the meal, I will have 2 bites of that. But if I'm like not feeling it, then I'm going to pass on that. So think about that. Living your life, making a plan around that. So that's what I mean by planning your indulgences. You could also say, like, sometimes I do this, sometimes my clients do this. I have this this lull in my day. I'm usually pretty hungry at that time, and I'm going to have this indulgent snack. I'm going to have chips and queso, and that's going to be 10 minutes of me time where I just kind of check out and I enjoy some chips and queso, and then I go on with my day. So you can also plan indulgences like that. And what happens over time is you start tracking, you start seeing like, okay, the scale is not going down. I think the chips and queso habit needs to be tweaked, or it's getting out of control. I'm eating the entire bag of chips, and really I would really only want to have like 10 or something. So then you go back and you adjust and you see where can I tweak this plan. But just for this first time, it's not about that. It's about writing it down. It's about making a plan, making it inclusive so that it feels like you're just going about your day. You're living your life. You're not going on a diet. That's not what the plan is about. Be thinking about, how do you want to feel physically during your day? Do you have a really crazy busy day with a ton of meetings and you need to have energy, you need to be able to be on point? What foods are going to help you feel physically energized throughout the day? It's probably not a cheeseburger and french fries for lunch. So be thinking about that. How do I want to feel physically throughout the day? What will help me get through this day feeling energized, feeling on my game? And that goes for not only the food, but how much of that food you're eating. So when my clients do this, we take it a little bit more in depth and we really talk about what signals your body is sending you and really paying attention to that. And you can practice that at home like later, but for now, it's just about making this plan. And then what food choices will make me proud? What food choices will make me proud? They're going to help me feel good physically or help me feel the way I want to feel physically, and then which ones are going to make me proud? And use those questions to help you make this plan. So a little bit about what this plan does, because it's multi-layered. This is a really fantastic brain training exercise that you're going to work on and you're going to get better at over time. The plan, this process it's not about punishment. It's not about losing 10 pounds tomorrow. It's about gathering data, learning about your body and about your brain. So when it comes to your body, we're going to start learning when your body is sending you different signals during the day, when it's telling you like, hey, we need to fuel at this time, or fueling at this time, it's really not working for us. Hey, this is how much fuel works for us to feel this way, to feel energized, or to feel really grounded and comforted or really bloated. And what foods feel good for us. Because you wrote down what you're going to eat, you are going to see, this is the second piece, because you wrote down what you're going to eat, you are also going to see where your brain is wanting to make changes in the moment out of emotional eating or cravings. So a lot of times when people are struggling with this, it's because they think that making the plan is about your brain like not talking to you about food anymore, or following the plan to a T and just like completely 100% nailing it. And it's not really about that. It's more about data and learning. So let's see where during the day and during what instances your brain is really talking to you about food, about, let's just go get a snack. That looks really good. Everyone else is doing it. Everyone else is having a piece of cake. Let's just have a piece of cake. It's not that big of a deal. Just one bite. One bite won't hurt. It's never just one bite. Oh, you've had a really hard, stressful day. You really deserve it. It's going to make you feel so much better. Like, what are all of those things that your brain is talking to you about and telling you? When is this popping up? Is it certain times of the day? Is it certain situations? Is it when you see a certain food? Is it when you sit down on the couch after a long day and the kids are finally in bed? You need to know that. A lot of times we are going through our day completely checked out. We have no idea why food is going into our mouth. Sometimes we don't even know the food's going into our mouth. We have no clue why. So we need to figure out why. We need to figure out what's going on. This is a fact-finding mission, truly. It's really important to know where you're starting out, what's going on now, so that we can start making changes. We got to be able to like diagnose first. Um, so you need to know where your brain is looking for those opportunities and what it's telling you in order to get you to put that food in your mouth. We can't work on it unless we know what it is. The other thing the plan is going to help you uncover is how much food your body actually needs, how much food it's asking for, when it's asking for it, and what foods actually feel good. So I did mention this a little bit before, but I wanted to talk about this, my smoothie story, which when I was a young nutritionist back in the day, back before I really focused on anything mindset, and I was just prescribing diets and all the things. I would make these smoothies for myself every morning, and they were full of like all the superfoods and kale and flax and God only knows what else. And every night I was so sick. Like my stomach hurt so bad. I was in pain. I was so bloated, so uncomfortable. And I really never thought about it. Like I didn't ever think that this isn't normal. I never said like, what am I eating that's causing this? I just completely was checked out. And it took me getting into a new relationship with now my husband, but we started dating and he was like, "You're sick every night." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, you're right." Like in the back of my mind, I knew that I was, but I was not willing to look at it and figure out what was going on. And he was like, "Something's wrong. Like you're sick every single night. Like what is going on?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right." And I started realizing those smoothies don't make me feel good at all. All of that like heavy uncooked kale, just tons and tons of fiber and like who knows what else. I was not digesting it properly. It was making me so sick. It didn't help with my energy. I felt really tired after I ate it. Like once I started paying attention, I was like, okay, this could be the healthiest thing on paper, but it's not working for me. It is not working for me. And now that I'm in like the mindset space, I don't eat smoothies anymore. I don't really like fruit that much. I don't eat salads that much. Like that's not really my favorite thing. There's a lot of things I would rather have. I'd rather have a bowl of pasta. I would rather have a hamburger. Like there's and I can still weigh what I want because I can gauge my food. I sometimes I don't have the bun or the pasta. Like I can listen to my body and say this is going to feel good for me right now. It's not going to cause me digestive distress later. I'm still going to be able to weigh what I want. I'm still going to be able to eat the right amount that isn't going to be too much for what my body needs. So all of that comes into play. And that planning, when you start sitting down and planning and putting this on paper and seeing what is going to work for you and being able to actually feel what's happening in your body and what your body's telling you about those foods and your energy levels and how things are digesting, then you can start moving forward and saying, that just doesn't work for me. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to have a cream-based pasta and 4 glasses of wine and dessert and a bread basket. I feel sick. It's horrible. What I do want is just one piece of bread or just 1 glass of wine or just a couple bites of dessert. That feels good. I'm fine with that. I can still lose weight. I still get to enjoy all of the things. And it's not this big thing in my life. It's not taking over my brain and my thinking. Like I get to move on. And then another story I wanted to mention. So this was just so fantastic. This woman came to me. She was a year out postpartum. And she's like, I eat so clean and like my diet is perfect. And I cannot lose the weight. 30 pounds, I think. I can't lose the weight. The scale's not budging. I eat so cleanly. And like, I think it's just hormonal. And I was like, it could be hormones, but before we do anything else, let's just make a plan. Have you sit down in the morning and think about what do you want your day to look like? How do you want to feel physically? And how much is your brain talking to you about? Like, let's go get a snack. Carrots and hummus is so healthy. Apple and peanut butter, it's so healthy. It's not going to affect your weight. It's not going to negatively impact your weight. And she did realize that's exactly what was happening was once she made the plan and she thought about like how many snacks I'm having and which ones am I going to choose and how am I going to structure my day, she realized that her brain was telling her to go get snacks throughout the day, even though they were super clean, but her body wasn't asking for that fuel. It was like, we're good, enough. We don't need that right now. You can hold off. And so when she started doing this planning process, within 2 weeks, she lost 10 pounds. She lost 5 the first week. And she was like, whoa, this is crazy. I had no idea that, I'm eating super clean, but I just was eating because my brain was telling me to. I didn't think about it. I didn't put these two things together, that my brain might just be asking me to eat just to get a snack. It'll be fine. It's healthy. It's all good. That's no problem. But my body is not wanting that fuel. It's too much fuel. I'm overdoing it. So she was able, just with this planning, to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, where she couldn't get the scale to budge for a year. So this is really, really powerful stuff. And a huge part of my clients' weight loss journey, and something that you'll hear me talk about on this podcast, is this brain body connection. And that's part of what this planning process does. When we spend our entire days living up in our head, we're upstairs, we are not listening to anything that our body's telling us. And folks, 80% of the signals being transmitted in your whole being are coming from your body up to your brain, not the other way around. Your brain is listening more than it's talking. And when you are just living in your head upstairs, you're not getting any of those signals. You're ignoring the signals. You don't know how to listen. So reestablishing that brain body connection, being able to start listening to what your body is actually telling your brain about how much fuel it needs and when it needs to fuel and what types of fuel actually work for it, is so important. And planning is actually a piece of that. There's extra parts of this plan that we go through in my program that really establish this more and help you see what's going on more. But simply writing down like this is what I'm going to have and this is what time I'm going to have it, and like that in and of itself will help you get started down that path of reestablishing that brain body connection. When you can listen to your body's signals and have a quiet brain that isn't going off about you eating all of the time, bam, you weigh what you want. It feels effortless. You have peace around food. You can go to the buffet. It's not a big deal. You have a little bit of this, you have a little bit of that. You live your life and you weigh what you want. That is really the key, is to be able to listen to your body's signals and quiet down the part of your brain that is having snacks out of survival mode. That is the key. So this is the first step in that. This is the first step that when I talk about my clients lose 5 pounds their first week, it's because of this step. It's huge. And so everything that I just told you, you can get started with this today. I recommend, my challenge to you is to plan for 1 week. So do this for 7 days in a row and evaluate each day. And how we evaluate is we simply ask what worked, what didn't work, what do I want to do differently next time? So very neutral questions. You don't need to beat yourself up. If you don't follow the plan, awesome. That's winning. You have a lot of data to go off of. This isn't about even following the plan. Eventually, you're gonna be able to follow it. But at the beginning, it's not about following it. It's about learning. It's about getting data. And so when you ask yourself those questions at the end of the day or the day after, what worked, what didn't work, what do I want to do differently today? You can really see, okay, so I made this plan. I said I was going to have a salad for lunch and no snack before dinner. And the salad really didn't feel good in my body. It was, too garbly, and I didn't feel full. And then I was super hungry and I was super stressed out. And so my brain started telling me, just go get the cookies in the break room. And I did go get the cookies in the break room. And those also made me feel terrible. They made me feel even worse. And then I was like sick at dinner, or I overate at dinner because I was on a sugar kick from the cookies. Like all of a sudden you can see all of these things and you can start to make changes. Okay, so today I'm not going to have a salad for lunch. I'm going to go for more protein and more healthy fats. And that's going to be my focus. And then in the afternoon, if my brain does start talking to me about those cookies, I'm going to know that that's probably going to happen. And then we'll see at dinner, like if I'm even hungry because I had a protein and fat dense lunch. Maybe I don't even hungry for dinner. So maybe if I want to have family dinner, I need to really tweak my lunch. My lunch needs to be a little bit lighter so I have some room at dinner time. You start seeing these things and you start being able to clean everything up and really make good decisions that feel good. And you also are living your life and you're not restricting yourself. You're not dieting. You're not cutting calories. You're not going crazy restricting. And then on the weekends, you just want to like completely overdo it and go crazy and eat cream pasta and dessert, and you feel sick. And then you have to start the restricting over on Monday. It's about you get to live your life every single day and you actually get to enjoy food and you get to weigh what you want and have peace in your mind. Okay, so thank you for listening. This was a fun one. I hope you get started. Let me know if you got started. Some of you send me Instagram messages. I absolutely love that. So you can go to my Instagram. It's Hayley, Hayley _ Sohn, S as in Sam, OHN as in Nancy. And send me a message. Let me know how this goes. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.